Thank you so much for making time for Citizen at 1. My name is Willis Raburu. Our top story this hour: the trial of Deputy President William Ruto and radio journalist Joshua Arap Sang resumed at the International Criminal Court this morning after a 9-day adjournment occasioned by the Westgate Mall attack. Now, the trial chamber, presided by Judge Chile Ebu Osuji, has confirmed the trial timetable will not be adversely affected, but the earlier scheduled one-week break between the 7th and the 11th of October has been scrapped. The Ruto Sang defense team have urged the trial chamber to consider holding sessions on Saturdays to expedite the cases. And in the meantime, the International Criminal Court has also issued a warrant of arrest against a journalist, Walter Osapiri Barasa, for what the court says is corruptly influencing or attempting to corruptly influence ICC witnesses. The ICC pretrial chamber judge Chuno Tarfusa issued the warrant of arrest after considering the evidence presented by prosecutor Fatu Bensouda that there were reasonable grounds to believe that Barasa was criminally responsible as a direct perpetrator for the crime of corruptly influencing or attempting to corruptly influence witnesses to withdraw from ICC cases that President Uhuru Kenyatta, his deputy William Ruto, and radio journalist Joshua Arap Sang face at the Hague-based court. Judge Tarfusa has ordered Baraza's immediate arrest and presentation in court to face trial, and we will be telling you more on that story as it develops. Now, let's move over to the NHIF, where Richard Karich and 4 others have denied charges of conspiracy to defraud the National Hospital Insurance Fund of 117 million shillings. Appearing before Magistrate Doreen Mulekyo, the anti-corruption court had that between 21st December 2011 and 8th February 2012, Richard Karich, Marwa Fadhili, David Chacha, Kipruto Chingi, Peter Ngunjiri, and Deba Warioko conspired to defraud the NHIF of that amount. Now, the charge sheet further reads that the group intended to use the Medical Center Limited to provide services, knowing that the company had no capacity to do so. The 5 denied 3 other charges, including abuse of office. They were released on a cash bail of 2 million shillings each after the court's decision. Karich is reported to have laughed, a move that saw the magistrate reprimand him, threatening to sentence him to 7 days in jail for contempt of court. 40 witnesses are expected to testify in the case that kicks off on the 27th of February 2014. Meanwhile, the Kenya Teachers in Hardship and Arid Areas Welfare Association, that is KATHA, intends to establish a multi-million counseling, rehabilitation and training center which will seek to assist its members to cope with the situation of hardship areas. The overall objective in the establishment of the center is to significantly reduce the number of teachers who lose their jobs and lives due to alcohol addiction and are eventually fired on disciplinary grounds. According to KATHA National General Secretary Daniel Ndungu Wagenya, the rehabilitation center will be set up in Rumuruti town in Laikipia County and is set to cover 40 regions gazetted as hardship areas. The project was initiated after it emerged that teachers working in extremely difficult environments feel dejected and isolated and end up feeling depressed, leading to them abusing alcohol. He also called on religious organizations, non-governmental organizations, and other well-wishers to come on board in actualizing the dream.
Counseling, so that those teachers who have not got yet to the depression point because of feeling frustrated, those teachers who have not yet got to the drinking because of feeling frustrated by the employer, we can counsel them and we show them that after all there is hope.
All right, let us reset for you and visit our top story. And the trial of Deputy President William Ruto and radio journalist Joshua Arap Sang resumed at the International Criminal Court this morning after a 9-day adjournment occasioned by the Westgate Mall terror attack. Now, the trial chamber, presided by Judge Chile Ebu Osuji, has confirmed that the trial timetable will not be adversely affected, but the earlier scheduled 1-week break between the 7th and 11th of October has been scrapped. The Ruto Sang defense team have urged the trial chamber to consider holding sessions on Saturdays to expedite the cases.
The idea is to remain as initially indicated in the judicial calendar of sitting, of course pending any developments that may occur in future. At the moment, the idea is to keep that schedule as indicated. Right?
We are happy on our side to have the time extended to include Saturdays. Mr. President, may I observe that the obligation we were obliged at the confirmation proceedings to conduct the hearings on Saturday, and we have come to get used to that, and we do not mind having to proceed on Saturdays.
The court thought that was desirable and necessary to finish one witness, let the witness leave, and then start with another witness on Monday. So, Your Honours, you are assured of maximum flexibility.
Right. Now, for many coast residents, it has been a long wait for the precious document that confirms private ownership of perhaps the single most important natural asset, land. But barely 2 months after President Uhuru Kenyatta ended this wait by issuing 60,000 title deeds, some beneficiaries have quickly disposed of their land in a selling frenzy, especially in Kilifi County. As Judicous Gain now reports, purchasing land from those who recently acquired title deeds is as easy as buying any other basic goods at a kiosk. The hunger for quick sale is so much that some sold their land in advance on confirmation of the titles when they knew that that was on the way. Now, the trade in titles therefore merely becomes a handover ceremony to current owners of the land, and the rush to sell is apparently a familiar habit dating back to previous regimes, including that of retired President Kibaki. Let's take a look.
Katikati ya shamba yangu nimezunguka na hapo chini meteremka nimepanda juu. Nimeenda paka mlima huo. Hii ndio eneo langu, shamba yangu yenyewe.
It is land whose size can only be seen and appreciated from a vantage point.
Nimezunguka paka huko chini bondeni.
So vast such that Kazungu Kalamafondo has to stand on this heap of precious rocks every time he wants to get a glimpse of the man he was 6 years ago.
Tumeenda paka mbuyu hii paka huko chini Bondari.
A 45-year-old man from Viambani village, Kilifi County, who has over the years been referred to one of the largest landowners. But that is not the case anymore. Part of this land is sold out, and what he has is just a fraction of the family land. The key to selling this piece of land was handed over to him by former President Mwai Kibaki just before the 2007 general election.
Title deed nimepata na Kibaki. Na Muhinda alipotaka kununua hapa, sikujua kuwa kuna mali. Yeye ndio amechimba akaenda Ulaya. Aliporudi akasema iko mali ya kumfaa, kwa hivyo niuzie. Na mimi kawa sina la kusimamishia watoto wangu masomo, nikamukatia kipande eka 24.
He did not know that beneath the dry soil of Viambani was a treasure, one of the raw material needed in making cement. But he sold the land anyway. He needed to pay dowry too, which meant another fraction of what was initially a 60-acre piece of land had to be sold.
Hapa kwetu Kimijitisa, kama una bibi na hujatoa mali, kumbuka wewe muhuni. unazaa wale watoto wanakuja chukuliwa ni babu yake na mama yake, unabakia wewe kitupu. Lakini ukilipa mali basi kwa mzazi, watoto ni wako. Ndio nikachukua sehemu, nikalipa mahali, hata hivi na raha, nikitoka nasema bibi yangu kweli. Lakini pale ilikuwa ni mtumba.
How much did you sell the land for?
Mimi nilimwambia nataka kuweka 500,000. Akanambia mimi si nitanunua hiyo. Mimi nitakupatia 80,000.
Was the money sufficient?
Kidogo, salala. Kidogo. 40,000 na 40 basi uchanganye. Si 80.
Asanteni sana.
Weeks after President Uhuru Kenyatta issued 60,000 title deeds in the coast region, 19,000 belonging to the people of Kilifi County, the land problem in the coast region may just get worse.
Mimi mambo Uhuru Kenyatta sinjuzi. Alipokuja hatu watu wa title. Kwanza mimi nilikuwa sina fare kwenda, na pili nilikuwa siwezi kujua hiyo title wetu wa buri ni ya shamba ya nani. Unaongea na kazungu. Siwezi kuongea mambo ya pwani. Wazee wengine wameuza, lakini siwezi kuambia huyu ameuza.
Agents have taken over, while in the quiet, humble villages of Kilifi, the probability of coming across such billboards compared to the common school billboards is high.
Manake unajua agent au land broker ni mtu ambaye hana loss mahali popote pale. Wewe unauza shamba yako na huyu ananunua, yeye anataka 10% kutoka pale. Kwa hivyo yeye hana loss.
From our conversation, it is obvious he does not understand the value of the land he owns. The picture is much clear that his is just a rough estimate. Any amount can do.
Sikuzie kwani wewe si binadamu. Mpe pesa. Re pesa. Watake kangapi?
5 utaniuzia na shilingi.
Sasa kwa wewe muinde amenisukuma, wewe usinibage. Wewe nipe 100,000. Kuweka. Kama simekwambia sikusoma. Kumbe hii ndio 100,000. 0 ya pili, 0 ya tatu, 0 ya 4, 0 ya 5.
I don't think many of our people have that knowledge of the worthiness of that title deed. They just see it as a paper.
Hata ataka kuwa chief ujue, anauza kisirisiri. Anachukua anaelewana tayari na huyo land agent, wanaenda kwa land control board na wanauza huko, na transfer ya land wanamalizana huko.
For Kazungu Fondo, what is left are photocopies of the title deeds of land he once owned. His next mission is to get hold of the vital documents of his other pieces of land, and the cycle begins again.
Niliuza shamba, niko na mabibi 3, niko na watoto 17, wanaosoma ni 10. Tena naache bibi wale 3 nifuate bibi ya mwenzangu. Mungu unisamehe. Dhambi kwa Mungu. Toka shetani. Kwa siku kwangu nyumbani nakula mifuko 4. Siwate family ya kwetu kwangu nyumbani.
The reason why land here is like gold.
There are people who have actually become what we refer as professional squatters.
Ukiambiwa willing buyer, willing seller, mimi kama administrator huwa sina mahali ambapo naweza kuingilia hapo.
Sasa kuna wengine hawajapata title na wameuza mashamba yao, na kitambo akipata hivi na kwa shamba tayari washaiuza, sasa inakuja imegawanyika mara 2.
For Kazungu Kalama Fondo, the father of 17 and husband to 3, the next willing buyer is what he's looking for.
The land issue is not only a highly sensitive matter for locals here in the coast region, but a complex one too. Will the title deeds issued by President Uhuru Kenyatta write a new narrative for the coast region? Judy Kosgei, Citizen TV, Kilifi County.
Judy, they're a bit startled by that man, but of course the overall factor is that the people in the coast need to take that land issue more seriously. Now, the 6 nominees presented to President Kenyatta for appointment to the Teacher Service Commission have been rejected by the House Committee on Education. The National Assembly Committee on Tuesday went ahead and recommended a fresh advertisement for all the 6 posts, saying the nominees failed to meet several requirements. It is the 3rd time the parliament is rejecting Mr. Kirago wa Mogochi, nominated by President for the TSC chairman. The others who are rejected are Albert Ekirapa, Miss Jacinta Capio, Miss William Mwita Makubo, Mr. James Muthuri Nkoroi, and Mr. Mwijuma Mwinyi Pembe. The committee said 7 names were forwarded, which was against the rules because only 3 names should have been presented. The House team, chaired by Muranga MP Sabina Chege, observed that the list lacked a mix of professionals since all the nominees had a background in education. The committee observed that the 5 out of the 6 nominees were employees of the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. It further noted that the candidates did not depict transitional leadership since most of them are over 55 years old. The team said special interest groups like the disabled were not considered and there was no regional balance. All right, let us reset once again. And the International Criminal Court has issued a warrant of arrest against journalist Walter Osapiri Barasa for what the court says is corruptly influencing or attempting to corruptly influence ICC witnesses. ICC Pretrial Chamber Judge Kuno Tarfusa issued the warrant of arrest after considering the evidence presented by prosecutor Fatu Bensouda that there were reasonable grounds to believe that Barasa was criminally responsible as a direct perpetrator for the crime of corruptly influencing or attempting to corruptly influence witnesses to withdraw from the ICC cases that President Uhuru Kenyatta, his deputy William Ruto, and radio journalist Joshua Arap Sang face at the Hague-based court. Now, Judge Tarfusa has ordered Barasa's immediate arrest and presentation in court to face trial and ensure that he does not obstruct or endanger the investigations or the proceedings, and to prevent him from continuing with the commission of the crime.
For the immediate arrest and transfer of Walter Barasa to the International Criminal Court to face criminal charges. There is evidence to suggest that Walter Barasa tried to bribe someone he thought was a prosecution witness in the case against Mr. Ruto. The office is taking action against those who are alleged to be corruptly influencing prosecution witnesses. The prosecution has conducted a comprehensive investigation on the basis of documented allegations of witness interference, which continues to date. The evidence collected so far indicates that there is a network of people who are trying to sabotage the case against Mr. Ruto by interfering with prosecution witnesses.
Of course, that is a developing story. Our senior reporter Francis Gashiri will be bringing us more of that in our subsequent bulletins. You can follow him for the updates at FShuri and also at Citizen TV News. Let's move on to other stories, and it is exactly 2 weeks to the by-elections to fill 3 parliamentary, 1 gubernatorial and 4 ward seats. And as the clock ticks away towards the by-election dates, various candidates have hit the road to lure voters. Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and other CORD leaders joined Wiper candidate Stephen Mutinda Mule for campaigns in Matungulu, and this afternoon they are expected to head to Kibwezi West to drum up support for Tip candidate Kalembe Ndile.
The forthcoming by-elections had been overshadowed by the aftermath of the Westgate Mall attack. However, the campaign mood seems to be setting in now with barely 2 weeks to the elections. Yesterday, CORD leaders were in Matungulu, Machakos County, to drum up support for Wiper candidate Stephen Mutinda Mule. The seat fell vacant after the High Court nullified Mule's election on the grounds that there were irregularities. Apart from Odinga, other CORD leaders on the campaign trail were former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua, and Machakos Senator Johnston Muthama.
Kwa hivyo mimi inanikira sana nikiona desturi za ukabila, nikiona mipangilio ya ukabila ama kasumba ya watu kufikiria kiukabila. Tufikirie Kenya moja na tusonge mbele. Tuko pamoja?
Angalieni Kalembe, walirudi kwa mahakama wakahesabu, ikaonekana Kalembe alishinda. Badala ya kumwambia Kalembe ingia, anaambia rudi kwa uchaguzi. Wakienda kule Kisii, mahali Bonchari, inapatikana ati ile mtu hakushinda, ile mtu wa KANU ndiye alishinda, anaambia wewe toka uingie. Hakuna by election huko.
Vile tunaongea saa hii hapa, vijana wako kule manzoni wanafungwa juu ya Uwezo Fund. Na vijana wale tulituma kutoka hapa Matungulu walienda wakapata majina yao iko. Kwa sababu wanasema hakuna muyumbe.
The other candidates in the race for the Matungulu parliamentary seat are Moffat Maitha of NARC and Thomas Musau Malinda of New Democrats Party. Alex Chamwada, Citizen at 1.
Right, let's stay with the by-elections. In Kakamega County, Governor Wycliffe Oparanya has pledged his support for the re-election of Moses Wetangula for the Bungoma Senator seat. Oparanya, who was speaking in Likuyani, Kakamega County, where he initiated development programs, said the nullification of Wetangula's election was meant to frustrate and weaken the opposition. The governor expressed optimism that their minority leader in the Senate, who has become the senior-most politician to lose a seat through the election petition, will recapture his seat. The Code Coalition will be camping in Bungoma to make sure Wetangula and the Code fraternity emerge victorious again.
Mimi kama gavana wa kaunti hii na wale wote ambao wametoka ofisi yangu na wale ambao wa chama chetu cha ODM na Fort Kenya, sisi tunaungana pamoja, tutaenda Bungoma tufanye campaign mpaka tuone ya kwamba Wetangula anarudi kuwa seneta wa Bungoma County. Kwa sababu najua hii ni vitisho kufanya sisi tuwe wanyonge.